Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video by your boy Ethan Schmeethan. So today we kind of have an oddity. I know I haven't been uploading a lot of food reviews and a lot of other things, but basically we're going to be doing a food review, except we're going to be comparing prices, nutrients, and we'll be even comparing the flavor. The flavors could be the important part though, because you can't just be buying frozen meals and be like, this is nasty, I'm not going to eat this. So you'll have my guaranteed trust that I'll give you an honest review about these BANQUET Mega Meats meals, okay? So this video might take like a few days because I kind of want to do it when I'm hungry. So I'm not like opinionated, and when I'm full, I'm like, this one's not as good as the other one. So essentially, what's it called? We'll be trying 4 Mega Meats meals. They're all surprises, and I hope you guys enjoy this video because honestly, it will probably take me a minute to upload, but hey, I don't mind at all. The first meal we have is literally Meatloaf BANQUET Mega Meats. Apparently, the meatloaf has 28 grams of protein. I know, it's crazy. I wouldn't believe it either myself. And for one meal, it's got 740 calories, which is basically like, what, a fourth of your daily calories, so not too bad. It's got 14 grams of saturated fat. I honestly don't know if that's bad or good. It's got lots of sodium, and it's got 10 grams of added sugars, so honestly that's not too bad. Added sugars is not really an issue in my department. Alright, so on the back it says 2 homestyle meatloaves, sweet and savory ketchup glaze. So I'll give you guys my honest opinion. I've never had meatloaf before, so this is honestly gonna be a first for meatloaf and this, so we'll see if this is actually gonna live up to the hype or not, in my opinion. Let's see. The instructions say you can either do microwave oven or conventional oven. Now see, the thing is, nobody's gonna use the conventional oven to warm this up. We all know we're gonna be putting this in the microwave and making it. So we'll get with the microwave oven part for all of these. So essentially, you got 6 minutes on high. You got to slit the film to vent, then swap the patties so they trade places. Interesting. Stir the potatoes and replace film. Microwave an additional 4 to 5 minutes. Check that food is cooked thoroughly. Careful, it's hot. Let it stand for 2 minutes and then we'll enjoy. Alright, so apparently this comes with 2 homestyle meatloaves and some corn and mashed potatoes. So far that's kind of a big up that has 2 sides rather than 1. The other ones I've got that I've noticed only have 1 side apparently. So we'll see if those actually live up to the hype or not. But honestly, we'll see how this looks, if this looks appetizing or not. It looks appetizing on the front. When I first pulled it out, it honestly kind of looked pretty gross. Or not gross, but like the frozen meal kind of look. It's like, it doesn't look appetizing, but maybe it will change my expectations when I see it in person after I finally finish warming it up. We'll find out if it's actually really good or really mid. I could tell you just firsthand looking at this before, putting it in again, it kind of looks kind of not as appetizing. I mean, the meat still looks juicy and better than, most of the frozen meals I've had in the past, but it still looks kind of like iffy, like, do I really want this or do I actually want to eat something good? But honestly, it smelled pretty good. I could kind of smell the ketchup smell. I've never had meatloaf, so I don't know if it's supposed to smell like that. The mashed potatoes kind of stuck to the bottom of the patties when I was moving them, so it was kind of weird with that. But other than that, the corn did look good. But I think it's really hard for them to mess up corn, because corn's pretty basic, We're back with the food, so let's get a close-up. Look at this. This actually looks pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna have it fall over doing that, but yeah, this looks pretty good so far. It's set to stand for 2 minutes, so we'll get back to you in 2 minutes. Alright, now that the food has cooled down, we're gonna try it. So first up, we've got the meatloaf. Let's get the main portion out. So this, we're gonna try it. It smells good. I'm hoping it tastes good too. I'll let you know what I think. All right. What's blowing a little, it seems like it's still pretty hot. The ketchup taste has a pretty spectacular taste, I'd say. But anyways, let's get right into this. In 3, 2, 1. It's an interesting taste. I don't think I've ever tasted anything that tasted like that. Let's get another piece. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to cut it. Oh. I accidentally dropped it on my shorts. So now I'm probably got to clean that up after this. But let's pretend this didn't fall, okay? So we're gonna try another one, but with the sauce. Okay. All right. So now we got the mashed potatoes. They don't look that good, but honestly, frozen potatoes are usually this crappy. They're not that good. Let's see if these have any flavor. Wow, those are kind of neutral. Honestly, I don't know. I'll give my opinion at the end. Lastly, we have the corn. There's no way you could ever mess up corn, to be honest. It is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, all around, this is probably like the meat. I like it. It's pretty good. Well, not pretty good, but it's like average. It's like, I don't know how to describe it, but it has a weird taste. But maybe it's just an acquired one for Meatloaf. Let's try this again one more time, last time. I don't know. That sauce is like a 50-50. It's pretty good. At the same time, it's kind of weird tasting. No, all around, this is actually a pretty decent meal. I think I definitely recommend trying this. Or at least eating this if you're hungry and, you know, you got like $4 to spare. And you don't want to go to McDonald's or spend $11. This should be a pretty good substitution. Except for the mashed potatoes. The mashed potatoes are mushy, gross. Pretty much like every other frozen mashed potatoes are gross. So on the scale, what would I give it out of 10? The meat? A 7. 7 out of 10. It has a weird little taste, but I kind of like that taste, not gonna lie. Some people might not like that, but yeah, I give that a 7 out of 10. The mashed potatoes, like 2. People can never get frozen mashed potatoes right. They're nasty. And then corn. The corn was probably one of the more better parts. I'd give it like a 9 out of 10 because how can you really even mess up corn? It's good frozen, it's good regular, it's good whenever. And this whole, I'd probably give this meal like a 8 out of 10 in my opinion. Let's get into the next food. We got the
Cowboy chicken with mashed potatoes.
Okay, so basically, let's ask about what this is. So it says here, herb roasted chicken thigh and drumstick with mashed potatoes. And we already know from the previous video that, or previous part, that literally mashed potatoes are usually nasty in these frozen meals. So we'll see if it improves on the expectations. Now that there's not like a lasagna crammed with it, or not lasagna, a meatloaf crammed with it. All right, so let's read the ingredients on the front. It says 40 grams of protein. 40 grams. That's like a third of recommended protein for the average person. Which, I mean, hey, that's pretty good if it's being honest about that. It's 440 calories, which is actually a lot less than the previous meal that we had. I'm surprised, and there's a lot less saturated fat, added sugars, and sodium as well. So if you aren't like a sugar addict, this is really good for you. I'd recommend trying this, okay? Let's see, proudly made in the USA since 1953. They really want you to know that it was proudly made in the USA. So let's read the instructions. It says, remove film over chicken, microwave on high for 4 minutes, stir potatoes and turn over chicken, microwave an additional 4.5 minutes, and then check that food is cooked thoroughly to 165 degrees. Careful, it's hot. Let it stand for 2 minutes, stir potatoes, and enjoy. So I don't really have a thermometer, so I can't really, like, you know, tell with 145 degrees. So we're just gonna go based off of guessing, and we'll hope that it tastes good and that it's gonna be an amazing meal. So let's get right into this. So my first thoughts when I open this is the chicken actually looks pretty decently cooked. The mashed potatoes actually look like they might be more than just a mush, so let's hope that this defies my expectations. And I'm truly excited to see what this has in store. It is probably looking like one of the more promising meals that we're gonna have in this video. So hopefully the end result ends up being better than my expectations, to be honest. Like, I think this is gonna be not the best, I'm just saying, because some of the other ones I've gotten look pretty good too, and we don't know if they're gonna be better, but this will definitely be up there. This will probably be my number 2 out of the 4, I'd say. All right, so we got the final product. It looks actually really good. The mashed potatoes actually feel like mashed potatoes mixing it. And honestly, I don't know. I feel like this meal might actually be decent. So let's honestly get right into this. Hopefully I don't burn my tongue eating the chicken. Feels like it's still warm. Maybe I should wait for it to cool down. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Ooh, look at that. Oh my gosh, it's so juicy looking. Interesting. Let me take another bite and I'll give you my opinion. So the chicken, it honestly doesn't taste that bad. I really do like it. I just don't like the texture. It's like slimy. It's like, you know, the cafeteria chicken where you're like, oh, this isn't that good. Because I remember in the cafeteria, whenever I go to lunch in high school, it'd always be like slimy like that, but it literally tastes good. The seasoning on this is amazing. Like, tell me this is not probably one of the more better meals. Or maybe I actually got one of the more slimy sides, because this side actually has a more, whatchamacallit, like actual chicken side. Actually, that's way better. I think I was eating the fatty side, because honestly, this isn't that bad. Now, next we have the mashed potatoes. I don't know if they're completely warmed up. They are kind of thick. Ooh, it's still hot. They are kind of thick, so maybe this will be good. Maybe this will be bad. I feel like they're going to be a little cold in the middle. All right. We'll see if the scallions really add something to this. Honestly, it's a little hot, but let me take one more bite. Because, you know, we had to give that chicken a second chance, and then we actually got to the good stuff. Honestly, it's like I say, mashed potatoes and frozen meals are never good. Nobody ever gets it right. And this, it's probably one of the more better ones, but it still sucks. This would probably be like a 2 or 3 out of 10. Maybe 4 or 5, because the scallions actually add a little flavor, but this is really bland. The consistency is perfect, but other than that, it's kind of bland. But this chicken though, ooh, I'm excited to see another bite. I don't know why. The seasoning's so good. The chicken's not as slimy as I thought it would be. It does look a little bit slimy. Up close. Let's try the thigh. Let's see if the thigh is just as good. It looks crispy. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, looks like we could pull the skin off. I don't know if I should do that or not, but screw it. Ooh! This is definitely a little more hotter. I think I actually bit into the bone. I don't know how to eat this without burning my mouth. Honestly, we'll just wait for that to cool down, but in my opinion, this is probably one of the better ones we've had so far. For chicken would definitely be like a 7 or 8. Like an actual good 7 or 8, not like my lasagna 7. Because this is really good. I would definitely buy this again compared to the lasagna where I'm like, I wouldn't really buy that again. But in my opinion, you should definitely buy this if you're into the huge banquet meats meals. Then this would definitely hit. But other than that, the mashed potatoes, they're always nasty. So this mashed potatoes are like 2 or 3, like I said, not the best. Scallons maybe add 1 extra point, so maybe 3 or 4. But other than that, I would definitely recommend getting this. We'll see if the other meals later on are just as good as this, but this is probably the best meal we've had so far. And the chicken on the thigh is actually really good. And it's not slimy either. That's crazy. Let's get into the next part. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're on to meal number 3. We've got the
Buffalo style chicken strips.
And what it says right now is breaded white meat chicken patty strips coated in sauce with macaroni and cheese sauce. Ooh. So this is gonna probably be the most unique meal we try. It's basically gonna have mac and cheese, which is not any of the meals I've gotten compared to the usual like nasty mashed potatoes, which, you know, aren't usually the best. But let's read the ingredients. It says we got 32 grams of protein in this meal. 32 grams. That's crazy. If you just came out of the gym, just warm this up and you can get yourself 32 grams of protein, which honestly, this probably has like 20, 25 compared to the actual 32 it's saying it has. We got 640 calories, which is all like, I think almost double of what the previous meal was. So that's iffy. 1 grams of added sugar, so there's not a whole lot of sugar. Let's see, it says microwave oven. What do we have to do? Remove film from meal, remove chicken strips, cook on high for 1 minute, replace chicken strips, cook for 2 minutes, stir macaroni and cheese and rearrange chicken strips, cook 2.5 to 3 minutes. Check that the food is cooked thoroughly. Careful, it's hot. Let's stand for 2 minutes and enjoy. All right, so just, you know, like looking at it, the food, when I first pulled it out, honestly looked pretty appetizing. You know, it looks like a, you know, pretty good generic food meal. The chicken strips didn't look like all altered or weird. The mac and cheese actually looked pretty like good, so we'll find out if this is actually worth it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we got the food. It's the mac and cheese and the buffalo chicken strips. Now, honestly, this looks really appealing. I'm kind of excited for this one, honestly. It's just like the other one. It looks amazing. It smells amazing right now. Like the buffalo is, ooh, hitting the spot and my nose tingles, you know? But what's it called? Mac and cheese just looks like plain old, you know, generic frozen mac and cheese. It still looks like it's gonna be good. So honestly, let's just get right into this. Let's get chicken tender or strip, and let's see if it's good. Let me get one more bite, and we're gonna see if this is it or not. We'll probably just finish this, honestly, because there's like 6 other tenders. That. That. That honestly is really good. Like, tell me how these chicken tenders are bussin'. Like, look at that. Oh man, and the flavor is just, ooh, It is a little spicy, not like more like, ooh, nice little tang, a little tang to it. But honestly, those chicken tenders are pretty good. So let's get into the next part, the mac and cheese. Let's see if this is just as good as the chicken tenders. Oh, let's dink it. Hand sink it. Let me get one more bite. Okay. So in my opinion, these are mid. They're like probably like, you know, average. They don't taste bad, and they don't taste as bland as the mashed potatoes, which is definitely a plus in my opinion. But you know, they aren't the best mac and cheese I had. You know, when I make my mac and cheese, I make it with fresh cheese. Not really, just fridge cheese. But the mac and cheese, it's, you know, smooth, goes in your mouth. That sounded dirty, but smooth, goes in your mouth, and it honestly has actually a little bit of flavor compared to the mashed potatoes, which is like, ugh. If I were to be honest, I'm honestly probably gonna finish this tonight. Like, previous to the chicken, I finished most of it because it was pretty good too. And then the lasagna, or not lasagna, the meatloaf was also pretty decent as well. But I don't know, my sister didn't like the texture, I didn't like the sauce too much, so it was just kind of like an awkward in between. But if I were to give this a rating, I'd probably give this meal at, honestly, like an 8 or 9. There's nothing really gross or wrong with this. Like, these chicken tenders are amazing. And the mac and cheese isn't that half bad either. It's like, it's mid, but it's mid good, you know? But anyways, I'm gonna turn off the camera and finish the rest of this meal, and we'll get on to the next meal. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on to our final meal on day 4. And the last meal we've got is the
Salisbury steak.
So what comes with it? Let's find out. It's got 3 Salisbury steaks made with chicken, pork, and beef, with home-style gravy and mashed potatoes, which, I mean, you gotta get used to crappy mashed potatoes they like to shove in there. So we'll find out. From what I can see, it has 32 grams of protein, 790 calories, so that's basically almost half of, not almost half, that's like a third of your required calories every day. And then it's got 18 grams of saturated fat, 1,860 milligrams of sodium, and then 2 grams of sugar, so not too much sugar to add. So let's get right into this. Let's make it and let's see what happens. Hopefully this comes out good. Usually Salisbury steaks, when I've had them frozen, are pretty decent. They're not like the worst thing in the world, but they're not the, oh my gosh, I love this kind of thing. We'll see if it can beat the buffalo tenders with mac and cheese. So on the back, we got Meals Made Mega. So let's read the instructions. It says, slit film to vent, cook on high for 5 minutes, rearrange patties and replace film, cook 4 to 5 minutes, and then the last final step, check that the food is cooked thoroughly. Careful, it's hot. Let's stand for 2 minutes, stir potatoes, and enjoy. So let's see how it looks, and I'll give you my honest opinion. Alright, so on first glance, it looks really disappointing, if I'm being honest. The steaks look the sauce is like all on one side, and the mashed potatoes look pretty plain. You know, they don't look as good as the ones from the, what's it called? The chicken meal where they had the little scallons in them. That was pretty fire. But honestly, I won't judge for its looks if it still tastes just as good as I'm hoping it will be. It will exceed my expectations. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we got the food. As you could tell, we got the Salisbury steak and the mashed potatoes. It smells like frozen steak, which It's not a bad smell. And the potatoes actually look a little chunky compared to the usual watery ones we get from other meals. So honestly, I'm gonna start with the potatoes this time because I already had a scoop of them, so we'll see what they are. Okay. In 3, 2, 1. Wow. Actually, I think that is actually one of the best mashed potatoes we've had so far. This actually has a little bit of flavor compared to the no flavor at all. It's so good, I'll probably have a second bite. 1, 2, 3. And the consistency actually tastes like potato too. Let's see if the steak holds up to it, but honestly, I am not disappointed at all. So next we have the steak, which doesn't look too good. It even has the fake grill marks to make it look all fancy, so we'll see if this tastes actually good. We'll do the usual countdown of 3, 2, 1, and now let's see how it tastes. Let me get another bite real quick, just to confirm my flavors. Oh, not a lot. Okay, so let me give my honest review about this. Salisbury steak, actually really good. I like it. It had like a weird smell when I first started microwaving it, but then all of a sudden that weird smell kind of disappeared as I warmed it up the second time. And it doesn't taste bad. It actually tastes pretty good. This would probably be a meal I'd finish, just like the buffalo strips and the garlic chicken. Now, is it flavorful? Nah, it's mid. It's like a 6 or 7 when it comes to flavor. So honestly, I'd probably give it like a good 7, because it's not bad, but you know, it's decent. It's something I'd actually eat. And the potatoes they're actually really good. Or not really good, but you know, better than the midness that they are. So honestly, I'd probably give this meal like a 7 or 8 out of 10. It's not bad. I enjoy the flavors. And honestly, I could see myself finishing this and probably buying this. Let's get one more juicy bite before we end this part. I think the combination of the potatoes and the steak would probably skyrocket this to 8. In conclusion, pretty good meal. I like it. So lastly but not least, we're gonna do the ranking, okay? We're gonna determine which had the best flavor, which had, you know, the most, I guess, nutrition-ish. I'm not really including nutrition, because if you're buying frozen meals, you're not buying it for healthiness. So we're gonna do how good they are. And then, yeah, we'll just rank it like that. We'll have it up to down. So after giving my number 1 spot, I'd say it was probably the buffalo style chicken strips. They were good. They were spicy, but not like too spicy. It was like, ooh, this is actually pretty good. The mac and cheese wasn't bland and wasn't watery. It was actually pretty consistent. Honestly, that one would probably be either a 9 or 9.5 out of 10. That, I mean, it's a frozen meal, so it's a 9.5, okay? A 10 would be like if it was fresh and made like that. But yeah, I think it's pretty good. And then for number 2, I'd probably do the last meal I just ate, which was the Salisbury steak with mashed potatoes. That was really good. Or not really good, but it surprised me. I thought it was gonna taste like pure crap, and it actually turned out to be a lot more better than I thought. And also the potatoes was like probably the best one out of all the meals, so I'll honestly probably rank it a little higher just because of that. And then in our number 3 spot, I would probably do the Cowboy chicken with mashed potatoes. The chicken was seasoned perfectly. It was chef's kiss. I'd probably give that, let's say, let's think about it. Probably like an 8 or 9. It was really good. It was just as good as, the Salisbury steak, which is probably like an 8 or 9 as well. And the flavor to it was amazing. The chicken portions were decent. And the mashed potatoes were all right. They weren't bad, but they had more flavor than our next spot. They had the little scallons in them, so it added that extra spice to it. And then lastly, last place, the meatloaf with corn and mashed potatoes. There's only so much corn could carry that meal. Honestly, the meatloaf was actually not bad. It was probably like 6 or 7. It wasn't like, the most amazing, mind-blowing thing. And that was like my first time ever having meatloaf, so that was interesting. The sauce was a little good. I feel like the corn was really probably the best part about that meal. But what's it called? Yeah, the mashed potatoes were nasty. They were watery, and they were like mixed with the meatloaf, so it didn't really like hit that well. But honestly, I wouldn't complain if I got any of these meals. They aren't bad, but they're pretty, decent. They're meals I definitely get if, I was like, oh, I don't got time to cook today, and I just boop, beep, 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 beep. And also if I had like a little more money too, because, most of these meals were like $4.50 or $5, so I wouldn't really personally spend money on that. There's some cheaper like frozen meals that I get that actually hit the spot. But honestly, let me know what you guys thought about that. Give me your opinions if you've tried any of these before, if you think they're delicious, and you're like, oh, well, Ethan, actually the meatloaf is the best, okay? Hear me out, okay? I'll be like, okay, cool. But all in all, I enjoyed each of those meals. They weren't like painstakingly gross, other than, the watery mashed potatoes for the first one. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys have a good night, good day, and a good evening. I'll see you guys in the next video, alright? Take care. And also let me know if you want me to keep doing more content like this. Like, for instance, you want me to make more frozen meal food, like videos, or me actually cooking, because I know I cook a little, okay guys? I mean, some of it is with air fryer, but I know how to cook and put spices and make it perfect. But let me know what you guys want to see in the future. Anyways, take care, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.